Why, hello, everybody. This is Eric Vierthaler92, a.k.a. Eric the Tyrannoceratops here once again. So, I made videos about this movie, before it came out. Today, the movie's out in theaters. I literally just got out of the theater. Here are my honest thoughts. So, what did I think of the movie? The editing was fine. The acting was fine. But the movie's biggest issue is the lighting. A lot of the cinematography was great, but some of the cinematography, I couldn't even tell what in the hell was going on. Especially with the lighting in some scenes was terrible. Like, I could barely tell what was going on. So, that's the movie's biggest issue. A lot of times, I can't even tell what's going on. From all the trailers, it was easier to tell what was going on. So maybe it was just the theater? But man, the characters in this movie are complete idiots. Like, the girls in the movie, the best female character in my opinion was Alice. The way how she died was brutal. Sorry, spoilers in this review. But yeah, a lot of the characters were complete idiots, so therefore, it made it harder to root for them. The music was fine. But yeah, so I guess there's a plot hole. So they established that Eeyore was eaten. But during the beginning, there's like this animated sequence where there's rabbit and owl. So look, I get it. It's made on a very, very low budget, so they only had the budget to do Piglet and Pooh Bear. But, so where was rabbit and owl? They at least could have written them off. Now, the movie was funny. It was. Like, there were a lot of really funny moments in it. And, spoiler, the part where Pooh Bear talked, that was awesome. And, the sound effects, you could tell it was just stock sound effects. The sound could have been better. The script needed a few tweaks, and I kind of feel like that maybe they should have taken their time a little bit more with the movie. Is it flat out awful? If people were to say that, I can see why they would say that, but, I at least had fun with Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. But there was this part where Christopher Robin's getting tortured by Pooh Bear. I couldn't tell if Pooh Bear was torturing him with a whip or with just really long hair. It was too hard for me to tell. Hopefully with the sequel, let's hope that they're going to invest in better lighting. Let's really hope that they do that. And now look, I totally get it that Tigger couldn't show up in this movie because of legal reasons, because he has not become public domain yet. So with the sequel, Tigger's definitely going to show up, because Tigger becomes public domain next year. So, at least it gives, what, it promises, a Winnie the Pooh horror film. I thought it was funny. But it definitely has its flaws. Like, right after I got out of the movie, right after when the movie got over with, there was this girl who walked by me and my other friends, and she was like, "That was such a waste of my time." So, and all my friends who I went with, they were all in agreement. Even with me, like, yeah, it could have been better. But yeah, and during the beginning of the movie, Piglet doesn't have the chain around his neck. Then all of a sudden, he has a chain around his neck during the part where he kills that girl in the pool, and that's not a spoiler because that was in the trailer. But yeah, it's like, okay, then where did the chain come from? Like, that seemed like a continuity error. But yeah, some people have complained saying that the movie takes itself a little bit too seriously. I kind of felt like a little bit of, like, yes, it did take itself seriously, but at times it didn't. It had a sense of humor about itself. I kind of felt 50-50 if it balanced that or not. And, people have said that, you easily can just replace Pooh Bear and Piglet with just any other slasher, and it would just be your cliche slasher movie. I can see that. It's definitely a very gimmicky movie, that's for certain. So yeah, it's pretty much the movie sells you on just the premise of a Winnie the Pooh horror film. So, do I recommend the movie? If I had to do the thumbs up or thumbs down system, I would do like this. Not 2 thumbs up. Had its issues. Maybe if they would have taken their time a little bit more. I wish these filmmakers the best of luck. And I hope that they improve from their mistakes on this movie for the next one. But everyone in the theater made it clear that they didn't even want to watch the sequel, so yeah, now look, I totally understand, because I made a ton of mistakes with my first movie, and then I improved upon it with my second movie, and then every issue I had with my second movie, I'm hoping to improve upon all that with my third movie coming out. Hopefully this year. So, I was entertained by this movie, but there were some really cheesy lines. Like, during this part where these guys are fighting Pooh Bear, he hits Pooh and then he says, "Yeah? Oh, well, I'll give you this. You're a tough guy." Everybody in the theater was roaring in laughter, including me. One of the girls said a really stupid line, like after when one of the girls screams, she's like, "I think that was a scream." Like, no durr. Like, no durr. No durr. Like, you moron. No durr. Yeah. So, it might sound like I'm ranting on it. I have issues with this movie. But was I entertained? Yes. Did I laugh? Did I have a good time? Yes. At first I thought that, Christopher Robin was only going to show up in the beginning and then die during the beginning. I was like, oh my god, if you do that, it's going to make it feel like Halloween Resurrection, where it's like 2 movies into one. I am thankful that they didn't go that route. And the movie just abruptly ends. So, and then that girl in the hot tub, that we saw in the previews, she had evidence as there was somebody watching her and behind her, and she saw Pooh in the background in the picture. Then she was like, "Oh, you better leave me alone because I have friends." But rather than leaving the hot tub, she goes right back to the hot tub. Like, you moron. Yeah, and I mean, that girl in the hot tub, I definitely thought she was the hottest one out of all those girls. But yeah, and But yeah, I was entertained. I thought it was funny. You know, it depends on your mood. It depends on, you know, if I'm going to watch a bad movie, I want it to be so bad that I can get entertainment out of it. And that's what I got out of this. For me, this is kind of a guilty pleasure movie. And, you know, for an indie movie that cost only $100,000 and it's made this much money already, like, it's already made $1 million, that's pretty good. But now with the bad word of mouth, that might hurt it. So, you know, because of that, I have a feeling that the sequel is going to be hopefully better. So, what do I rate the movie? Maybe a 5 or a 6. It had good pacing. I will give it that. I never felt bored. It didn't drag. So if anyone's going to say, oh my God, this is the worst movie ever made, that's an exaggeration. Is it a great movie? No. Is it a good movie? I can't say that either. It's at least a fun time at the movies. I will give it that. So, about to pull into my apartment. Those are my thoughts on Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. Check it out if you want a good cheesy time at the movies. But, if you are not a fan of low budget movies, this isn't for you. I mean, just because it's low budget doesn't automatically mean it's bad, but yeah, you know, that's what I got. Movie has its flaws, but I was entertained. All right, thank you all for watching. You all have a fantastic day, night, whenever you're watching this. Take care. Bye-bye.